What's up YouTube, Capital G here, checking out by far the most interesting Link monster to come out of the entire Link Frames Pack 2. That is the Psy-Frame Link monster, and you guys know I was kind of against this idea from the beginning. I just didn't think that Psy-Frames and Link summoning kind of went together because the entire archetype is like hand traps, and you can't summon them if you have a monster on the field. Also, you can't like normal summon any of them. They have to be special summoned by their effects, so it just felt like a really weird mix, and I was like, I don't know how a Psy-Frame Link monster is actually going to work. And then if you have a monster on the field, it kind of locks you out of being able to use your hand traps, but it actually does work. Konami thought this one through, and I was kind of surprised. And let me just say, by the way, I don't know what's going on with this card's artwork, but man, am I the only one seeing Thunder King Ryo here? I can't be the only one who sees Thunder King Ryo when they look at Psy-Frame Lord Lamba. So this is a Psychic Link monster. It's linked to 1700 attack, which is actually pretty damn good if I say so myself. It's light attribute and it's psychic type because it's a Psy-Frame monster, obviously, and the link points are bottom left and bottom right. Now the materials are any two monsters except token monsters, so that does open up the ability for you to run some small engines in Psy-Frames. I've already seen some people running the Sky Striker engine. You can pretty much just hit your Hornet drones and that'll get you into Lamba instantly, and that also sets up for like future Borreload Savage plays because you can bring back your Sky Striker monsters and use them as Boro counters. Also, another engine that I think is kind of good would probably be like Neospacians as an engine. I think Neospacians work really well because Neospace Connector is obviously a one card Lamba, but then if you happen to draw, like hard draw your Grand Mole is a card that doesn't necessarily stay on the field. You attack your opponent's monster, you mold it back to your hand, and Mole goes back to your hand, and then you're just kind of playing Psy-Frames as normal. First effect says you can activate the effects of Psy-Frame monsters in your hand, even if you control a monster. Second effect says if another face-up psychic monster or monsters you control is banished while this monster is on the field, you can activate this effect during the end phase of this turn. Add one Psy-Frame card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Psy-Frame Lord Lamba once per turn. Alright, so I think that when you look at the first effect, obviously this is awesome. This is something I could not have predicted that they would put in this Link monster, but it's the way that it's going to kind of make the Link monster make sense, and it also kind of progresses the deck as a whole. This means that you can control other monsters outside of the Psy-Frame archetype. You can have other random synchro monsters on the field, and you can still activate your Psy-Frame hand trap, so you can gamma your opponent once, have multiple monsters on the field, and still gamma them later in the turn because none of the Psy-Frame hand trap effects are actually hard once per turn. Now this does actually, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Psy-Frame players, but this card kind of makes beta, like, I want to say unusable, because if you have monsters on the field, including just your Lamba, well, what are the actual chances of you getting attacked directly? It seems like it would be almost zero at that point, so I think that beta might actually get dropped from the deck. But honestly, the best hand traps right now, like in this meta and probably moving forward, are Data, Gamma, and then Alpha. I think that, Epsilon is a little matchup dependent. Like if you're playing against Ultra guys, obviously bring that in. And obviously this means that now Psy-Frames have the ability to go into some stun type synchro monsters like maybe Borreload Savage Dragon, which is right around the corner. Psy-Frames couldn't really do that effectively before because when you had that monster on the field, it would directly clash with you being able to activate your other hand traps. When it comes to the second effect, obviously you want to be able to activate this as much as possible. So you're going to use your Zeta, you're going to use your Omega to instantly use that. Now keep in mind, you can also, like if you summon other Psy-Frame monsters on the field, but for some reason you don't have like Circuit, you can use something like Psy-Frame Overload. You could just banish a card from your opponent's side of the field by using one of your Psy-Frame monsters that's on the field, whether it be Driver or Gamma or whatever, and then you will get the search. Now I know a lot of people are probably going to say that it would have been nice to get the search immediately instead of having to wait to the end phase. The problem with giving an immediate search is in a deck of hand traps, obviously there's nothing stopping you from searching like a Gamma and then immediately using that Gamma. So I feel like Konami making you wait to the end phase is actually good card balance. I think because of this card, obviously Psy-Frames are going to get better, but I think that they are going to have to adjust. I think that beta is probably going to be dropped from the deck because I'm not really sure how consistent it's going to be moving forward when you always are going to have a card on the field, a monster specifically. And I think that Psy-Frames will have to look for some other good level 8 synchro monsters because Omega is limited to 1, and from what I've seen, they can drop a lot of synchro monsters. So maybe start a Spark Dragon, maybe Borreload Savage Dragon, and then the last last thing, you'll just have to find that little small engine so that you can get into this card consistently, whether it be Sky Strikers or whether it be, you know, Neospatians or something like that. But overall, really good card, well thought out, and it actually does help Psy-Frames out a lot. Although I will say, in closing, this deck is still super fucking reliant on that field spell. Don't get it twisted. This does not help in that aspect at all. It just kind of makes overall Psy-Frames a little more consistent, but they need the field spell on the field to win. So whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.